In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the honest truth when it comes to day trading and why you very likely will end up losing a big chunk of money. What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Brandon. We post a video every week, so subscribe and also be sure to check out our Investing Academy. It's that first link down in the description below. But I've been getting a lot of comments recently. I've noticed actually an influx of comments here asking me to cover day trading or short-term trading. And I'll actually share with you guys at the end of this video my personal experience with day trading that didn't go so well. But I will preface this video first of all by saying it's important to say this. I'm sharing with you guys the perspective from a long-term investor. So you could call it biased. I mean, it is biased at the end of the day. I still think it's important that you hear all the different angles. You know, you hear the pros and cons from a day trader, you hear the pros and cons from a long-term investor. But I will just preface the video with that, and subscribers of the channel, you guys already know that. But without wasting any time, let's hop here into reason number one why it's very difficult and why you'll probably lose money day trading, and that is that it very simply takes money to make money. I know that is kind of implied. It's something that you're definitely going to hear a lot when you're researching getting into day trading. The example I love to use here is you take somebody like Ricky, all right? Ricky operates, I believe it's the biggest day trading, investing community, investing YouTube channel. He's a very successful trader. He documents his journey and his daily trades. A guy like Ricky, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe an average trading day for him, the amount of money that he's trading with, we're talking here in the tens of thousands of dollars. I think he's mentioned on his channel a couple times that an average day of trading, probably looking somewhere like $30,000 to $40,000. That's the position size that he's working with. And again, that's just off the top of my head there, guys. Now, when you're investing with larger chunks of money like that, which really when you want to day trade successfully, if you want to do it for a full-time living, you want to do it as your career, you really do need to start with a nice chunk of money like that, because when you're investing with a lot of capital, it doesn't require massive returns on a day-to-day basis. You can get away with making some smaller returns. I say smaller, it's all relative, obviously, but the larger amount of money you're investing with, he can profit, let's say, $1,000 per day by only making a few percent on his position. Now, if you're just trying to start out with investing, let's say you want to start out with $1,000. Heck, I know people that want to start day trading with $100. Making the same returns that he does with a much smaller amount of capital, guys, you're going to probably ask yourself, is that even worth it? And when you do have that smaller amount to start with, what that's going to do is that's probably going to get you to stretch a little further. You know, you're not going to want to make $7 on your first day of trading or a $20 day. Point being here is that with a smaller amount of money, it's very easy to get lost and just kind of stretch, kind of aim for a little more, which that in and of itself goes against everything you should be doing in following a system, staying disciplined. We'll talk about that actually in just a second in this video. But understand that from a dollar perspective, it's much easier to day trade when you're starting with a much higher amount of money. Now, not to mention that aside from the returns here, what a lot of new investors tend to overlook is simply commissions, the cost of going out and day trading. If you're looking to start day trading here with a smaller amount of money, keep in mind that every position that you enter and every position that you exit requires a commission. I have people saying I got $100 they want to start investing. Let's assume that's going to cost you, let's say on the higher end for this example, to make it a little juicier for this example. I know that's a little bit biased here, but let's assume that's going to cost you $10 in commissions to go buy a stock, $10 to then exit that position to go sell the stock. If you're starting with a $100 investment, you are already $20 in the hole. You're 20% in the hole before you even get started. Now that, like I said, is the high end of the spectrum. I know a lot of people can get lower trading costs than that. Let's call it a $5 commission. Maybe you plan to start with $1,000, a bigger chunk of money, so it's eating away less at your returns. But don't overlook that, guys. You're already starting in the hole when you factor in trading costs. I know somebody's probably thinking, well, with Robinhood, I get commission-free trading. And that's a really good point. But to the best of my knowledge here, guys, a lot of those brokers, they don't allow short-term trading. You can't go out and day trade on those platforms. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but you're only allowed to make a certain number of trades within a certain matter of time. So that kind of just wipes that option out the way. You do have to pay. There is a cost that's going to be incurred to go out and day trade, which again factors into it takes money to make money. Now, the next reason, which to me is the important reason why you're not going to make money, is because you're probably in it for the wrong reason. Now, what am I talking about here? Well, let's be realistic here, guys. The reason that you're probably looking to get into day trading, you've probably seen the pictures of the Lambos, you've seen the mansion house, you're thinking of all this money that you can make, you're looking up how to get rich quick, how to make money online fast, you have that mindset that you need to make some quick cash. Those are typically the types of people that want to get into day trading, and that mindset alone, I hate to say it there, but you're probably already screwed before you even get started, because to be a successful day trader, which by the way, guys, is possible, right? I'm not going to sit up here and say every single person is going to fail at day trading. Now, I believe the number is something like 90% of traders end up blowing their portfolio up in the first matter of months. That's what the numbers say. But don't get me wrong, I do know people that actually day trade for a living, so it's very possible. But it takes a very dedicated and a very disciplined person that can keep a cool and level head. You have to follow a system. You take someone like Ricky, for example. I'm sure he teaches this in his course, in his Learn, Plan, Profit group, that you have to follow a system. You have to be disciplined. Now, for people that are just starting out, who are looking to make fast money and multiply their money in a short matter of time, what's driving you there is your emotions. It's greed. And that is something that probably won't fare well for most traders, most day traders. If you can't control your emotions, the fact that you're in it to make quick money in the first place, that to me is actually the underlying reason why most people will end up failing. Now, of course, this one goes without saying, but it takes time to learn, all right? Day trading is something that you aren't going to master overnight. As with any field, if you're looking to get serious about it, it takes a decent chunk of time to learn it, especially something as complex as day trading. Realistically, you're probably going to have to devote at least a number of months to, I'd say at least a year plus, to actually learn the fundamentals of how to actually read the technicals, how to read the charts, learning things like the RSI, MACD, understanding volume, understanding trends and patterns, to be confident enough to go out and do this successfully. Now, that said, even if you have a thorough understanding and you've done this for a couple years, if you've been investing for a while, you probably know this, the markets don't always do what they're supposed to do. That actually leads into another point where if you do start out with day trading, in the beginning, you very well could see some great success. You could start off, and this is actually what I think to be a very dangerous thing, you could start off on a nice hot streak. You find a nice stock, maybe you're in an uptrending market, you're thinking, hey man, I got this. Your confidence starts building. You think you got a little bit of a system figured out here. Let's say you've made a few consecutive positive trades. Then what happens is you come across a scenario where you recognize a trend. Hey, I've seen this pattern before, right? RSI is telling me this is a buy. We're seeing strong volume. And instead of taking a $1,000 position, hey, this time I'm going to go for a $2,000 position, all right? I know this. I've been here before. Now, guess what? The markets don't always do what they're supposed to do. They're unpredictable. And then what happens is you start chasing gains. You kind of double down again, thinking, all right, I'm going to make this back. What's going on? What's going on? It's very, very difficult, guys. And that's actually leads to another point. If you guys haven't noticed, I got like a bunch of random points here everywhere. Reggie, stop jingling that thing. But if you've been day trading for a long time, you could spend months or let's say up to a year of doing what you're supposed to do. Being disciplined and consistently making these small profits and slowly growing up your account, which is the way that you should be doing it if you're going to attempt to day trade. A year's worth of slow and steady gains, those can be wiped out in literally a day, right? You're day trading, or at least I should say here, a very short amount of time. It's very easy to blow up your portfolio quick and just lose all the gains that you've worked so hard to achieve. Things happen like flash crashes, these one-off odd things in the market that just kind of like these black swan events, which really can just devastate a portfolio. It can devastate months and months of good gains. And I know for a fact that we're going to have at least one of you guys, one day trader watching this video who says, well, what about my stop loss, right? My stop loss is going to trigger that. If you have used any experience with a stop loss, feel free to let the others know down in the comments. They don't always go as planned. I know it sounds so simple. I'm just gonna have a trailing stop. I'm just gonna secure all my gains. I'm not gonna be losing any money. That sounds great in theory, but in practice, what's actually a lot more likely to happen, and especially if you trade marijuana stocks, you've probably been there before. What's much more likely to happen is that your stop loss actually gets triggered. Let's say a stock starts dropping down. Let's say you have a 5% or a 10% trailing stop loss or a stop loss. Stock drops down, your stop loss gets triggered, you end up selling off the stock, and within a matter of minutes, the share price has already bounced back up to where it was trading at. There's a lot of intraday volatility, and you're then forced to go back in and buy that stock where it previously was trading. Guys, that happens all the time. And then again, think about the commissions that you're going there. Stop loss, you're selling a stock out there, you're buying back in. It is just a very, very tough thing to do, guys. And those guys are just a few points that I had kind of listed here in terms of why I personally don't day trade. Again, it's not to say that you can't make money out there. It's just when you look at the numbers, it really is just a losing game, and you're probably in it for the wrong reason. If you asked me, like, I have $1,000 that I want to invest, or I have $10,000, or let's say you come into a significant chunk of money. What should I do with this money? You can take the option of swinging for that home run, going for the day trading route where you're probably, the numbers don't lie, you're probably going to end up losing that. Or you can say with almost confidence that if you want to take the route of long-term investing where you're actually going out and investing, you're going out and buying shares of businesses that will be around 10, 20, 30 years from now. You can't say it's automatic money. You can never say that when it comes to investing, but it's as close as it gets. It really comes down to that short-term mindset versus that long-term mindset. And as with many things in life, without getting all like, without getting too like, you know what I'm trying to get at here. I can't even think of the actual saying right now, but nothing in life that's worthwhile comes. It's just a better route to take, the slow and steady route that is assured and guaranteed versus just striving for this quick cash so that you can go out and buy a new iPhone, or that you can go, quit your job and just freaking play Call of Duty all night. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's just another thing. There's another point before we end this video, is that you just always will hear the positive stories. There's very few investors that will come out online and be transparent and honest with their losses when it comes to day trading. It's always, hey, I made this much. It's so tempting when all you're hearing about is people making all this money. They just don't talk about their losses. And even the ones that do, I know, for example, Ricky talks about his losses. Maybe Ricky's not the best example for this, but who knows that they're even being honest with their losses, really? Unless they're actually going in and showing you their accounts, they could just be falsifying the numbers, just making the story either sound good or bad for their own personal profit there. It kind of all goes back to that mindset. And again, you could argue that this is a biased opinion, but I did forget to finish off this video. I'll share with you guys my personal experience with day trading. And this does go back a few years. This goes back to where I'd consider myself more of a beginner investor. I've always had a long-term approach, but one day, don't ask me why, I thought that I'd dabble my feet in day trading. And in particular, what I was trying to day trade that day was a gold ETF. And I'm trying to think back, in preparation for this video, I was trying to think back what to the exact occasion was. But there was basically some political event that was going on, and I came in with the expectation, kind of more of a fundamental view here, that if things don't go well with that political announcement, well, that's going to result in a stock market drop, which is going to result in a spike in gold. And actually, what ended up happening was gold did start spiking. I remember looking on my computer in the morning, and gold started the day off very strong. Let's say it was up 4%, 5%. Now, it felt that every time I refreshed the screen, gold was up another 0.5% and then another percent. It was climbing. There was a lot of intraday gains there. And I was just frantically thinking like, I gotta go freaking get some gold, get my hand on this ETF. And back at the time, I had set aside $2,000, which at the time was a pretty significant chunk for my portfolio. That was basically, I was kind of overstepping there, but I thought, hey, gold's running up. I'm gonna make some quick cash. I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna get out. Everything's gonna be fine. I was frantically doing the numbers, trying to calculate how many shares I could afford of this given ETF. And the second that I went in to go buy the stock or the ETF, literally the second I bought it, it's like the investing gods were watching over. They knew, they were just trying to freaking screw me. The stock turns the opposite direction. The stock started plummeting. And I just remember thinking at first, okay, it's just a minor pullback. We've seen gold pushing up all morning. It's got to be good. The stock kept dropping lower and lower, and I'm seeing my position just $100 gone, couple $100 gone. And end of the story there is that I didn't want to take the loss because at the time it was a pretty large investment for me. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to hold gold for the long term. I'm just going to wait till it bounces back up. Weeks later, months later, gold didn't end up recovering, and then I ended up cutting my losses much lower than I would have if I just simply cut the losses right away. But that was my one day trading experience. Granted, that goes a number of years back when I wasn't even looking at the technicals, so you could say that I was not doing it the right way. I definitely wasn't doing it the right way. Day trading, in my opinion, is just flat out not the right way. But since that experience, it left a very sour taste on my tongue. It was enough to teach me a lesson in that why would I go out and try and speculate, try and gamble on what's going to happen over the short term? Because any investor will tell you that is a very difficult thing to do. I can say with almost certainty that if I put my money into good blue chip companies, let it ride over the long term, let the power of compound interest work for me, I'm going to do very, very well. That, guys, is the video on day trading. Hopefully that was able to give you some insight, at least a few points that maybe you didn't think about. Maybe you already knew and it's just some confirmation. To end this video, if I were to just give you some flat out advice, if you're seeking my personal opinion, like what to do with your money, don't even bother trying to day trade. Actually, okay, this could be bad advice too, but if you're young and starting out, I guess it doesn't hurt to go out and dabble your feet, okay? Dabble your toes with day trading. Start with a small amount of money, which you're already screwing yourself there. But maybe if you go out and actually do it personally and you learn a lesson like I did, maybe that's enough to teach you, rather than just hearing people saying, oh, here's the pros and cons of day trading, and always wondering in the back of your head. Go out and try it for yourself. Just make sure that if you do decide to try it, don't invest more money than you're willing to lose. I'd say actually come in with the mindset that you'd expect to lose that money that you're going to try experimenting with. And if things go well, things go well, but just don't overextend yourself, and don't, if you've been saving up money like from a summer job or whatever, and you really value that money and you don't want to lose it, don't go out and try day trading with that, because I would personally consider that money gone. If things go well, things go well. But my advice to you guys is that if you can deploy that money in the stock market over the long term, go out and be an investor rather than a gambler, rather than a speculator. That's just my honest advice for you guys in this video. So if you enjoyed that, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Maybe it'll help numb out the thumbs down from all the day traders out there. It's not necessarily a knock on day traders. I mean, I don't like it when people go out and promote day trading to new investors, because it's basically, for many people, leading them off a cliff. So I don't like that aspect of day trading, but at the same time, I have nothing against day trading. I actually really enjoy tuning in to Ricky's channel from time to time. It seems like he really knows what he's doing there. It's not to say that you can't make money. It's just that for most people you won't. And I don't want people to get that false hope that you're going to get rich overnight and you're just going to make a bunch of money. Day trading, probably not going to happen. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We post a video every week. If you want to check out our stock market course for long-term investing, you can put your name down for some discounts down in the comment section, down in the description below. And you can also check out our private membership group. That's all over on our Investing Academy. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.